Dear Jesus, please come and bless us with your presence today. Hold us in your heart, in your mind, and shower us with your love, with your light. Help us stay on track, stay focused on what matters, stay clear about our purpose. We're joining here with the sincere wish to realize the same thing you realized, to realize our Christ nature for our own benefit and for the benefit of all beings in all realms, all times. So, like I said, having Jesus sit here with us and join us in our minds and in our hearts, and just showing Him our sincerity and our honesty in doing this practice, our sincerity in joining together here today, why we're here, which is to end our own suffering and to end everyone's suffering ultimately, and to join Jesus in the atonement. So, as we're relaxing and sitting in a comfortable posture with our spine straight and our back upright, if that's possible, letting yourself feel Jesus' presence and feel his blessings gently raining down on your body and on the space around you. And we're relaxing and opening ourselves to receiving his presence and his blessings, surrendering to his blessings. With gratitude for the teachings he's given us, the teachings he continues to give us, for all of his guidance and his devotion to us. So today we're going to work again on the two-part formula, which is a method for seeing through seeing all the way through the core of the ego thought system that involves the sense of a separate I or me. And we're going to do that by accessing our natural right mind, which we call the Holy Spirit. So the Holy Spirit is the natural state of our being. It's actually who we are, or what we are, and what we always have been. And it's always been here, always will be here. It's just gone unrecognized. And this imposter, basically, which is the ego and the ego thought system, is obscuring our perception so that we can't see the Holy Spirit. And so, with this practice, we're going to be examining the ego thought system in a methodical way and experientially. It's really, we want to investigate kind of all the angles from a sensory perspective of what it feels like to be thinking with the ego thought system. And even though we think with the ego thought system pretty much all the time, day to day, especially when something feels really, for one, when something feels really bad, but also when things feel either like heavy or wrong or off, that's a sign that we're thinking with the ego thought system. And it sort of likes to run away and hide whenever nothing that it thinks is important is going on. So it goes unnoticed. It's very tricky. So we are going to circumvent all that by bringing it up directly. And when we access and join with the Holy Spirit, we're also going to look closely at what that is and look at its characteristics and recognize its characteristics, see that they don't change. They're always there in our experience, actually, all the time, both in meditation and on a day-to-day basis. And then when we see the ego, what the ego actually is, which is basically just a thought that then also creates temporary tensions or a contraction in our mind within the Holy Spirit. So the Holy Spirit is the context for our whole life. It is who we are. And within that is a temporary distortion of perception, which is the ego thought system. And when we look at that and see, starting from the Holy Spirit, looking all the way through, completely penetrating the ego thought system, coming out on the other side and seeing that the Holy Spirit is on both sides and all around. So the ego thought system and the belief in an ego is a temporary limitation on who we are, that we're simply imagining it as a limitation. And as soon as we see it and see that we're actually doing that, we're by not looking at it clearly, we're allowing it to basically run the show, and we're giving it our belief. So when we do this practice and we look carefully and non-judgmentally at the ego, that is what can cause us to have a revelation, in the terminology of the Course in Miracles, or also called an awakening, where temporarily our entire belief in the ego thought system will disappear, and we see who we really are without any of that in the way. And just briefly at first is how that works. But revelation is also the entire practice. And the whole path to atonement is just a series of more and more revelations, where the ego thought system is investigated more and more fully and always seen to be fundamentally empty and basically made up. So let's begin. So we're going to join with the Holy Spirit thought system now. And to do that, we're just going to relax our body. And in this state, we really are not needing to use any effort. So we're relaxing naturally, letting our breath deepen naturally. And as we relax, any tensions that we become aware of, we're going to keep those in our awareness until they dissolve. And they don't need to be pushed or pulled to dissolve. They're just going to dissolve naturally, and we're going to let them. So this isn't an effortful process. It's actually releasing effort. So we're going to feel into the space of our body as we're continuing to relax. And any tensions that we feel, whether it's in your back, whether it's in your eyebrows, whether it's in your hands, you're going to just remain aware of that tension. And if there's any holding, you're just going to release it. And watch as the tension releases. And as the tensions release, we're going to see what is the feeling that's left behind where that tension is. And what we're looking for specifically is a feeling of open spaciousness that doesn't have any holding. So it's an accepting spaciousness. And some more things we can notice about this space that's both inside our body and outside. But right now we're mostly just trying to be aware of our body in the insides of our body, so we can find our skin and we can feel our skin, but we can also feel inside the skin. And inside there, we're looking for this space, this feeling of openness or relaxedness or not holding. And some more things we can notice about this space are that it's clear, meaning it's not distorted or cloudy or fuzzy. And if it is fuzzy or clouded, we can see clearly that it is fuzzy or clouded. So we're just feeling clearly the space of our body, letting tensions go. And another thing we can notice about this, and of course, what we're looking at is our own mind right now. We can notice that there is a stability, kind of a bedrock groundedness that permeates our whole body. And this is an effortless stability. So again, we're just releasing any tensions. If there's any thoughts, we're letting those come and go. We're releasing the tensions associated with our thoughts. And let's actually focus on the head for a minute and relax the whole space of the head. And just let it relax. Let relaxation fill your head as you breathe in. And let tensions disappear with the out breath. And we'll relax the area of the brain with the same procedure. If there's any holding inside the head where the brain is, just let it relax. Slowly, just let it dissolve. The tensions just dissolve on their own naturally. And what's left is a relaxed, open, stable space that we're clearly aware of. And now let's relax the eyebrows and the forehead. Relaxing the muscles of the eyes
Sorry,
and the
Ben. Can we
eyelids.
do a waiting room check?
Relaxing the eyelids and also relaxing the space of the eyeballs themselves. So we're just opening up this whole space, letting any tensions go naturally, easefully. And during this whole process, we're recognizing this is the Holy Spirit that we're joining with right now. And as we're doing this, we're seeing that there's no natural holding, there's no natural pushing, there's no natural gripping or pulling. And you could say that there's no judging. So everything is accepted as it is and perfect in its own right. There's no need to grip or hold onto anything. So the Holy Spirit releases all the tensions that it's aware of naturally. Moving into the jaw space, relaxing the jaw, unclenching, relaxing the mouth and the tongue. Let's go ahead and relax the neck as well. So while we're keeping our back as straight as possible, we're also just letting all the muscles that we're not using for our posture, let all the muscles hang and relax naturally. Now we're going to take a deep breath, and as we breathe in, we're imagining our whole body being full of relaxation coming in through the breath. And as we breathe out, all the tensions are leaving with the breath. Let's do that again. In, relaxing, and out, releasing, exhaling all the tensions. So now that we've relaxed thoroughly, let's just check in lightly with our body, the space inside our body, and just see if there's any strong holding that we're aware of. And if there's any tensions that won't release right now, that's perfectly fine. You can just let them stay there. We're not going to be able to release every tension the first go around. So as we're looking at the body again, we want to touch base and just notice this feeling that's very stable. You could say it's very peaceful or still, and it feels very grounded. It's also open and clear. And we can also notice that it is alive. It has life or vitality. So it's not a dead space, it's a living space. So now we're going to bring in the ego thought system. And when we're doing this, it's important to really put enough energy behind. We're going to say I, and we're going to say me. We'll say them 3 times each, and then we'll repeat it. But the idea here is to say it like you mean it, as if you were in an argument with somebody about something really important, and you're talking about what I need what I want and what is right for me, in my opinion. So this isn't to be done in a timid way. It's as if it was something really important that you feel very strongly about, an argument with a significant other or a good friend. And we're going to say it out loud. We're going to say, I, me, me, mine, mine, mine. So we're going to do it again. I, 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 me, 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 mine, mine, mine. And now, before we do it for a third time, just think about, imagine that you're in an argument with somebody, something that bothered you today or yesterday, and you're asserting your personal stance about this matter, and you're saying, I, 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 me, 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 mine, mine, mine. And now we're going to watch. And we're going to look in the same space of our body that we've been working with. And we're going to see what's happening. So when we're doing this investigation, we're figuring out, what are the sensations? Where are they? What is their shape and size? And we're just going to watch them in a neutral way. Going to watch them with curiosity. So these sensations also, we want to be investigating all the dimensions of them. So what is their feeling? What is the charge associated with them? Is it positive or negative? I'm going to tell you it's going to be negative. But what does that feel like? Is it tense? Does it feel small? Does it feel tight? Does it feel uncomfortable? Look at those feelings, look all the way through them and around them, and just sit with your full awareness on those sensations. Just being aware of everything that's associated with them. And we're not needing to do anything about them, we're just needing to be aware of them and look at them all around with curiosity. Are they changing? Are they moving? So we're going to continue watching these sensations in a neutral way, meaning we're not judging them, even though they might be and should be uncomfortable. That's okay. It's part of the exercise. We're just looking at them. we're just feeling, what does this ego thought system feel like? What's its deal? So if the sensations are starting to fade a little bit, if not, that's okay too. We're just going to keep watching. But if they are, we're again going to see what is left in the space where those thoughts or sensations were. So, what is revealing itself once again? Meaning the Holy Spirit. Because we're still with the Holy Spirit. And you can see that the Holy Spirit is the context within which these ego thought sensations are formed. So just keep watching. And as the tensions slowly relax and go away, we're going to notice the space that's once again still and peaceful that's left behind. So letting those tensions continue to fade, again, we're noticing that here we are again, back in the Holy Spirit, joined with the Holy Spirit, which is peaceful and open and clear. And it's here just naturally. So again, we're feeling the space of our body. It could be that there's some new tensions that have come up again. And if that's the case, we let those release again. And we just notice that here we are again with the Holy Spirit. And that's because we're always actually with the Holy Spirit. It's never gone anywhere. And we're seeing again that we're aware of all the feelings in our body, and we're aware of the peaceful, open, alive space that's just naturally present when we're sitting and relaxing. Without judging or grasping onto anything. We're making sure to breathe naturally and in a relaxed way. Let your breath sink down into your belly. Don't hold it up in your throat or in your chest. And again, we can breathe in relaxation and feel it filling our whole body as we breathe in. And as we breathe out, it's carrying away any tensions that have built up in our body. And if there's any persistent tensions that don't want to release right now, we're still releasing our mental hold over them. So we're just accepting everything just as it is right now in an effortless way. So now, joined with the Holy Spirit again, we're going to check within the space of our body. Now that we know, we've experienced what the ego thought system feels like, what its characteristics are, we're just going to check really fast. Let's check in the left leg. Just feel into the space of your left leg and see if there's any of that ego thought energy there. Is there the energy of a me or a mine in your left leg? And let's move our awareness into our right leg. Is there any of that self energy, the contracted energy of an I? Is there any of that in the right leg? Now, can it be found in the pelvis area? Can it be found in the stomach area? Can it be found in our upper torso, our shoulders, or our chest? Is there an I there? Is there a contracted bad feeling of being a self, or is there just an open space that's also alive? And we can check really quick. We'll check our left arm, check our right arm, continuing to breathe naturally, breathing in relaxation, breathing out tension. And now let's check in the head, placing our awareness lightly in the space of our head. Are we finding that I, that me? Or is it a clear, peaceful space that may or may not have some residual tensions? That's totally okay. But what we're wanting to find out is there that bad, uncomfortable sense of an I in our head right now as we're just looking and relaxing? So again, this is right now we're in touch with the Holy Spirit, which, as you can see, it doesn't judge anything, meaning it's not trying to push or pull anything away. It's not holding on to anything. It doesn't have any reference point of being a personal self. It's just open and clear all the way through. It's also accepting and loving. So just touch base with this feeling, make a mental note, and if you didn't find any self, any tight, contracted feeling of a personal self within anywhere in your body, in this Holy Spirit mind, take note of that. So basically, what we're wanting to investigate is, does this natural right mind that we're joined with right now have something that could be called a self, a personal self? Or is it just a natural, easeful, clear space? All right, so we're going to move to part two again. We're going to bring the I thought, the me thought, the personal sense of an individual person. We're going to bring that up again. And this time, we're going to we're going to remember to really put some energy into it. And I want everybody to individually try to think about the conflict or argument that you're most upset about right now. Don't get into the details, but you're going to assert your personal sense of importance. So, for example, you can say, I deserve respect. I should be listened to. I need to be loved. I need to be listened to. And if you start to think about any of these examples that are potent for yourself, go ahead and start using them. Another thing you can say is, this is my house. These are my possessions, my career. This is my work that I have labored for. This is what I deserve. This is my legacy. And go ahead and keep saying those affirmations for a minute. And don't hold back, because you know the ego doesn't hold back when we're living our life. The ego completely takes over and comes to the front. So we're wanting to bring that same energy right now. I am very important. I am worth listening to. I know what's best. This is my life and I know what's best. Okay, now go ahead and you can relax the affirmations, and we're just going to watch what's happening in our body. And we're going to feel these sensations. We might feel it in the stomach. We could feel it in the heart area, in the chest, in the throat, or in the head. And if we're feeling it in the head, we want to pay a special attention to the feeling behind the eyes in the center of the head. What does that feel like? And I want to draw attention to the fact that what is observing these sensations right now is your Holy Spirit mind. So, from this place of openness, we're observing the ego. We're looking on the devastation. So, really feel it. And we can feel the edges of it. So, what is its scope? How big are these sensations within our mind? What is their texture? And then we're also wanting to go all the way into them. We're not just staying at the surface. We really want to get to the core of the I thought. So we're looking all the way into it. And we're continuing to look all the way through it. And again, we're not grasping onto it. We're definitely not pushing it away. We're just accepting it and seeing it exactly for what it is and noticing all of its qualities. And we're not getting lost in it either. So we're, again, just recognizing that as we watch the ego thought system and what it's doing in our body, what it feels like with this thought, we're noticing that we're still here aware. So the context is this aware space within which seems to be this ego thought that we're observing. That we're observing non judgmentally, but scientifically investigating what does it feel like. And we're going to keep watching it, following the sensations. We're looking into them, but we're not going all the way into them. Meaning we're not losing the fact that we're still sitting here, present, aware, stable. All of the qualities of the Holy Spirit are here with us right now, like they always have been, acceptingly, non judgmentally watching the ego's activity in our minds. And as that activity fades, we're noticing more and more what we've already noticed about the Holy Spirit. Again, that it's open and clear and doesn't naturally hold any tensions. So we're just observing that as the ego comes and it goes, the same thing is always what remains, and that's the Holy Spirit. And keep watching, keep being aware of those sensations. And finally, we can just release anything that's left. If there's any more self sensations, personal sensations, you can just let those go. And when we're doing that, we're now here, present, completely aware. Everything is perfectly fine, just as it was when we started. Nothing important has happened. The ego has come and gone, and we're still here, perfectly aware of our bodies, peacefully not holding, not grasping any of the tensions that are stubborn in our body, also not being grasped. They're just naturally present, and we're naturally aware of them. You can go ahead and open your eyes. That concludes the two-part formula practice.